there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on News First, where the people come first. You're joining me, Naveksha Gunasekara. Let's start off by taking a look at your headlines.
Sainda Marudu remains exhumed. DNA test again to determine status of Sarah Jasmine. Farmers take to the streets again. Protesters gather outside the house of State Minister in charge of Mahavali. Ayurvedic doctor stabbed to death. Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi handed a 5-year jail term for corruption.
In some news we've just received, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says as the executive president of the country, he agrees to establish an all-party government with all political parties represented in parliament as a solution to the present crisis situation. In a letter addressed to the party leaders of the government, the president has extended an invitation for a discussion with all the party leaders of the ruling faction, including the MPs who have decided to remain independent in parliament. The discussion is to be held on Friday, the 29th of April at the President's office at 10:30 a.m. The President's letter states that the discussions should focus on the structure of the proposed all-party government, which is to be appointed following the resignation of the present Cabinet of Ministers, including the Prime Minister. According to the President's letter, the duration of the all-party government, as well as who should be assigned responsibilities, will also be discussed. In your top story this afternoon, did Pulasthini Mahendran alias Sarah Jasmine, a suspect of the April 21st attack, die in the Sainda Marudu explosion? The remains of those who died in the Sainda Marudu explosion in 2019 were exhumed today to extract DNA to determine the presence of Sarah Jasmine.
The investigation was carried out with the participation of the Ampara magistrate and other government analysts. Police said that on the 26th of April 2019, Zahran Hashim's brother, Mohammed Rilwan, detonated a suicide vest, killing 17 people, including children. However, DNA tests at the time did not confirm the presence of Sarah Jasmine at the scene. Detectives have decided to once again exhume the remains after 2 previous occasions also showed a negative result to determine the presence of DNA belonging to Sarah Jasmine. Therefore, the investigating officers have decided to re-examine the body parts and have requested the Kalmune Magistrates Court to allow it.
Representatives of 21 farmers' organizations in Polonnaruwa staged a protest today demanding fertilizer for cultivation.
Farmers blocked the Polonnaruwa Batikalo road at the Sevanapitiya junction. When this country is filled with all the resources, the rulers are importing rice. They are living a luxurious life by putting the farmers onto the streets. These rulers should be ashamed.
A satyagraha was staged by a group of farmers in Polonnaruwa opposite the residence of State Minister of Mahavali Siripala Gamlat. The farmers are demanding immediate resignation of the State Minister.
Representatives of 16 farmers' organizations attached to the Giritale movement joined the Satyagraha. They are requesting compensation for the crops destroyed due to the fertilizer shortage.
Siripala Gamalat accepted the state ministry of Mahavali. Did he take the ministry to protect the Rajapaksas? He was elected through votes of the farmers. He should be with the farmer. The people in Giritale will never support the Rajapaksas.
This country is a land like no other. This is literal paradise.
They have this mental prison where they think, okay, so if the Rajapakshas leave, there won't be anyone else to govern the country. We must break that prison.
Why it is different is, I think for the first time there's this awakening of the national consciousness.
This is a moment in which Sri Lankans are transforming from voters to citizens.
The people's protest in front of the President's office at Goldface Green in Colombo continues today as well. News First, Sanita Senanaika joins us with the latest.
I'm reporting to you from opposite the President's office where the people's struggle that has been happening for the past 2 weeks, for more than past 2 weeks, organized by the people, is continuing today as well. Now today as well, people from many walks of life from around the country are here today demanding the resignation of the President, the Prime Minister and the government. And what's interesting is, after all these days, this premises seems to be free of plastic and trash.
People from across the island are continuing to gather at the protest site next to the President's office, demanding the resignation of the President and the Prime Minister. Various activities took place at the protest site last night. A Perahara was also organized by the youth at the protest site. Thereafter, the Mahasangha chanted Pirit throughout the night. People camped at the protest site till dawn today, demanding the immediate resignation of the government. Protests continue across the country in support of the people's struggle opposite the President's office in Colombo. A protest was staged at the Gota Gogama branch in Badulla last night. protest against the government was also staged in Gotagogama, Mathura. Athero Intesa Maharama Hampantota engaged in a protest march yesterday against the present government.
The demonstration staged in front of the temple trees at the protest site dubbed as Maina Go Gama, calling on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to resign, are also continuing. People who gathered at the protest site staged demonstrations throughout last night. Police buses are seen parked near the temple trees today as well.
Police has informed the protesters outside temple trees to disperse from the area as their presence is causing disturbances to the pedestrians. The protest march launched by the Samagi Jana Balavegya titled Freedom Struggle entered its second day today.
Leader of the opposition Sajid Premadasa, SJB parliamentarians and activists have joined the protest march which commenced from Kandy yesterday. It will progress from Mavanalla to Galigamua today. The protest march is expected to reach Colombo on the 1st of May.
A number of trade unions will come together to launch a token strike across the country tomorrow.
The government sector, semi-government sector, estate workers and every other workers' union in the country demanded this government to provide solutions for the crisis in the country. Now they are demanding the government's resignation. The government is trying to deceive the public by shuffling the heads in the cabinet. They created queues for fuel, gas and milk powder. Now there is even a queue for soap. The cost of living is rising every single day, but the salaries of the workforce remain the same. We are launching this protest on the 28th to make the government feel the strong displeasure the working class has towards this government.
Local government representatives of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna have been summoned to Colombo today for a discussion with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The local government representatives are expected to brief on the current political situation in the country and the future course of action. Prime Minister met with the government's parliamentarians and provincial councillors at Temple Trees yesterday. During the meeting, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa informed that he will not resign from his position. In more local news, the selling price of a US dollar in licensed commercial banks has increased to 358 rupees today. The buying price stood at 343 rupees. The Ministry of Finance says no decision has been taken so far to reduce the salaries of public servants.
Finance Secretary Mahinda Siriwardana said the ministry has instructed 7 steps to reduce the expenditure of state institutions. A special circular to this effect was issued to all secretaries to the ministries and heads of government institutions yesterday. Accordingly, it has been informed that all projects that were to be launched should be temporarily suspended.
The Litro Gas Company says the distribution of domestic gas cylinders will resume today after a ship carrying 39,000 metric tons of gas reached the country yesterday.
Litro Gas has planned to distribute 100,000 domestic gas cylinders to the market daily. Another ship carrying 3,600 metric tons of gas is expected to reach Sri Lanka tomorrow. Litro Gas increased the price of a 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder to 4,860 rupees with effect from midnight yesterday. The distribution of domestic gas cylinders was suspended on the 12th of April and people were severely inconvenienced as a result of the shortage. Meanwhile, people are seen waiting in long queues to obtain kerosene oil due to the shortage of gas in the country. Long queues were also seen in the Kottahen area to buy kerosene. Our correspondent said some had been waiting in queues since last night. A 55-year-old father of 2 in the Hatton area who waited in the queue to obtain kerosene oil for about 5 hours yesterday is reported to have died after returning home. The victim had joined the queue at around 7 p.m. last night. The remains are lying at the Koe Base Hospital for further investigations.
3,900 metric tons of gas reached the country yesterday, and thereby the Litro Gas Company says the distribution of domestic gas cylinders will resume today. Moving on to more local news, the bakery owners have also decided to increase the price of products owing to the hike in gas prices.
Restaurant owners have no option but to increase prices because of this gas price hike. We earnestly request the restaurant owners to increase their prices in a manner their industry as well as the well-being of the consumers are secured. The price of gas has increased by more than 2,180 rupees.
Up next is Crime Watch.
Crime Watch.
A 75-year-old Ayurvedic doctor was stabbed to death in Battaramul area last night, and according to the police, he was attacked with a sharp weapon following a heated exchange with a homeless man when exiting a supermarket. The suspect had fled the area and investigations are underway. Meanwhile, a 63-year-old man was killed and his son was injured when a group of persons entered a house in the Waragod area in Kalania and attacked them with sticks and paws. Police stated the group of criminals have entered the premises, beaten the father and son and robbed their jewellery as well as land deeds.
Crime Watch.
In news overseas, a court in military-ruled Myanmar has found former leader Aung San Suu Kyi guilty of corruption, the latest verdict in a series of secret trials.
Suu Kyi has been under house arrest since February 2021 when a military coup ousted her elected government. The 76-year-old Nobel Prize winner has been charged with a raft of criminal offences, including voter fraud. She denies all of the accusations, and rights groups have condemned the court trials as a sham. The closed-door hearing in the capital have been shut to the public and media, and Suu Kyi's lawyers forbidden from speaking to journalists. A junta court found her guilty of taking $600,000 of bribe in the form of cash and and gold bars from the former head of Yangon, Myanmar's largest city and region. She was sentenced to 5 years in jail. Lawyers told foreign media that they have not been able to meet her yet. The latest conviction takes her total prison sentence to 11 years, as she was previously found guilty for other offences.
And that's a wrap of lunchtime news here on News First, where the people come first. For all these stories and much more, you can log on to our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. Thank you for watching. Do take care.